Tony Stewart burst into the NASCAR scene in 1999, just 2 years after his IndyCar championship season. He put up arguably the best rookie season ever in NASCAR, recording 3 wins and a 4th place finish in the championship standings. Although he never had a crazy 8-win season or anything like that, consistency was key for Stewart, as he won at least 1 race in his first 15 seasons. Over the years, he has also had some of the worst wrecks in NASCAR history, so today we're looking at 10 of these crashes in chronological order. Just before the video starts, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Anyways, let's get into the video.
Just gets the car up in that loose stuff, and around he goes. Now he comes back in the wall, but there's a lot of traffic coming, folks. A lot of traffic, and we're going to see Robert Presley in the 77 car somewhere right here. He's going to run into the right side of Tony Stewart's car.
There are Compton and Rusty Wallace going by on the high side, and Presley.
Tony Stewart just lost control of his car exiting turn 4. After making contact with a passing car, he was bounced off the outside wall and back down the track. Unfortunately for Tony, Robert Presley wasn't able to avoid him and ran into him as soon as he came to a stop. Although this was Robert's first full Cup season, he had plenty of experience winning in the Xfinity and Truck Series with 12 wins between those two divisions.
Stewart was the first car sideways.
Here's
why.
Here's the 4 got into the back of Ward Burton, I believe.
And then Burton's 22 got into Stewart. And everybody scrambles.
That car is taking a whale of a ride, that 20 car is. It's getting hit, it's upside down, it's hit on its roof, it's on fire.
Tony was turned by Ward Burton in front of the field, which never ends well. After contact from Robbie Gordon, Stewart's car lifted off the ground and tumbled down the backstretch. Nearly 20 cars were done for the day after this crash, which is considered to be one of the largest crashes in NASCAR's history.
Blimp.
Well,
it's just ahead of it.
Yeah, we're just ahead of it there.
Now look at Burton's car. When it goes sideways, it collects up the whole rest of the field.
I mean, there's cars going under Stewart's car while he's in midair.
Yeah. That must be at least 30 cars.
In the back straightaway coming off turn number 2. A ferocious crash in the back straightaway off turn number 2. Tony Stewart, the leader around. Mark Martin's in it. Ward Burton's in it. One car got completely sideways and the track was blocked. Look at the damage to Schrader's car. He is climbing out. His teammate Johnny Benson is involved. Kurt Busch, you see his damaged car.
Buckshot Jones had an issue with his car and slowed down. Stewart wasn't able to avoid him and ran straight into the back of him, setting off this huge crash at Darlington. Despite his last place finish in the Daytona 500, Stewart was off to a solid start to the season. The opposite was true for Buckshot, who DNQ'd for the 500 and was out of a ride after race 8.
There's all the smoke out there. So watch, these guys are coming here and they can't see. You're coming out of the smoke. It's like coming out of a bank of fog.
Wow, what a hit.
Oh, my goodness.
And at that speed, Darrell, from 300 feet away, what can you do?
Well, there's nothing. You're at just the mercy of the track.
Three lead lap cars as Paul Tracy just made a stop 1 lap down. Crash. Car upside down. Start finish line.
Stewart,
It is Stewart.
Daniel Quinn in the 50 got into it.
I don't see anyone else, but Stewart has taken a wild ride.
Tony was definitely considered a favorite for this race, considering he won 2 straight opening races at Daytona in the Busch Series. Unfortunately, his chances of winning went down the drain after he made a late block attempt on Kenny Wallace and flipped across the start-finish line. Despite his success in the Cup Series, Tony didn't make much noise in the Busch Series between 2005 and 2007. He started 36 races and only managed 2 wins and 11 top 5s.
Yeah, the roof flaps deployed. They did their job, but the air just got out from underneath the back of the...
He's got problems, Mike. He's talking to Mike Beam and Pat Trison right now. He said, I ran over a coil spring and gosh knows what else from behind that 33 car. He said, I'm really sorry, guys. We had a great race car.
Just a couple of weeks after his flip at Talladega, Stewart had another tough outing in the Busch Series race. He smacked the wall off turn 4 pretty hard and spun before riding the wall to stop through the tri-oval. After retiring on lap 10 in this race, his misery carried over to the Cup race, wrecking just 50 miles into the Coca-Cola 600.
Tony's okay, but he's holding his right arm and his shoulder, rubbing it.
Now here comes Blaney.
I think both rear springs came out.
It looked like.
Oh my goodness.
Crash in turn 4.
Man,
and there in the midst of it sits Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch, the 2 leaders.
I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe Tony got a little loose all at once.
After winning the Budweiser shootout, Stewart could not have asked for a worse Daytona 500. With less than 50 to go, Tony was leading but received a bad bump from Kurt Busch and was sent hard into the outside wall. Him and Busch were done for the day, leaving Stewart in last place in the Great American Race. Despite all of his accomplishments in the sport, he never won the Daytona 500.
They make contact.
And then once Tony gets sideways, nowhere for Kurt Busch, the 2 to go.
What a shame.
You're doing 185 miles
In the
an hour.
19 car. Right now, Elliott in the
Crash. Turn 2.
Oh, and nowhere for Tony Stewart to go. And you see there nowhere for Denny Hamlin. They just keep wrecking over here. This is normal product of Dover Raceway.
The concrete can.
After Elliott Sadler was hit by David Gilliland, he slammed into the outside wall. Oncoming Tony Stewart had nowhere to go and plowed into him, setting off another huge Dover pileup. The 2008 season was the worst of Stewart's career up to this point. He had set career lows in top 10s, top 5s, and average finish, and this was his first season with only 1 win. After the season, Stewart partnered with Gene Haas to form Stewart Haas Racing, and they found immediate success after Tony Stewart found victory lane 4 times in the 2009 season.
See the 19 go up the hill. Here comes Tony, and he says, "Oh man, please go down, please go down."
Boy, look at Casey Kane in that 9. He actually got some damage on the rear.
The 15's the one that done a whale of a job.
Darrell, we've always
4 wide. Stewart slid. Gordon's hard into the wall. There's Edwards. Allmendinger.
Oh no, what mess.
Gordon and Stewart, and then cars trying to sweep by on the outside. Menard, Montoya, McMurray, Harvick, or rather Boyer, all get caught up in it.
Stewart found himself on the outside of 4 wide at Texas, and after contact with Edwards, he was spinning in the middle of a huge pack. Several more cars plowed in, resulting in a Texas-sized Big One. He won the pole and led 73 laps before the wreck, which ended the day for 7 drivers.
But then when he does, Edwards has got a hit into the back of the 14 to Tony Stewart.
I don't think Gordon got into Stewart enough to move him. The contact from Edwards, though.
I'm back at Infineon Raceway, and yes, that is a live picture.
You know, payback sometimes. Well, a lot of times it happens around this place. Tony Stewart just got paid back for what he did earlier to Brian Vickers.
After being dumped earlier in the race by Stewart, Brian Vickers decided he needed to give payback to the championship contender. Vickers was running several laps down and intentionally let Stewart by him, just so he could dump him into the hairpin. Stewart slid into the tire barrier, lifting him off the ground and stranded him, forcing his day to end early after running inside the top 5. Stewart eventually went on to win the championship, despite being winless and running outside the top 10 in points at the time of this incident.
And keep leaning and just pushed Vickers into the tires down there. And you know what, really, and Tony...
Casey Mears, Kenseth with Harvick behind him. Oh, there's contact. Stewart into the middle of the pack and over.
Fortune's out.
With just 7 races left in the 2012 season, Stewart needed to win at Talladega to get himself back into the mix, and he put himself in position to do that. He was leading into the last turn of the final lap until Michael Waltrip moved to his inside, forcing Stewart to attempt a block. The move was way too late and sent Tony around in front of the entire pack. With hard contact from both Paul Menard and Clint Boyer, this was enough to lift Tony off the ground and go upside down. Only a handful of cars escaped without any damage. Now, instead of being just 30 points away from the points lead, he was more than 40 points away and couldn't get any closer after struggling the next few races. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment which driver you want to see next. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.